In America, we believe in inalienable rights, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and trees for all?
So there's no way without trees that we can pursue happiness. As human beings, we need trees. We need forests. They're critical to our health and well-being.
Americans love green, but what we get is gray.
In today's world, where an ever larger fraction of the population is living in urban environments and the world is getting warmer, the cities are bigger and more concrete, more built structure, that the more green vegetation that we can embed in our urban environments, however that is.
One way to combat sprawl is to make cities more dense. But the closer we crowd together, the more critical the need for intentional, abundant, and accessible green spaces.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. So you're basically using less land per person. So it's finding that balance between saying you do want to integrate green features into an urban setting, but you don't want each house to have so much land that you are taking away these huge swaths of land.
There's a wrong way to do density and a right way. This is density done wrong. This is the Eau Claire transit station. It's wall-to-wall human hard surfacing and the antithesis of good and green, with not a trace of blade or leaf or feather in sight. An urban canyon that insults aesthetics, amplifies traffic noise, and magnifies solar radiation.
Cities are well known and well documented to be heat islands because, in part, there's much less vegetation, and instead you have all this concrete and asphalt and roofs. Urban trees provide this really valuable environmental service of helping cool the urban heat islands in multiple ways, including by moving water through the leaf surfaces, which is just like sweating from our body. So many studies documenting that where you have more trees and green areas in a city are much cooler by many degrees than areas that have few trees.
We've had this idea that humans are here and nature's someplace else. So people think I can do whatever I want with my yard and it doesn't matter because nature's someplace else. But your yard is not like Las Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But what happens in your yard does not stay on your yard. If you kill the pollinators in your yard, they're gone from the whole area. If you don't manage the watershed, if you don't sequester carbon, if you don't support a food web, you've wrecked the entire local ecosystem. Trees absolutely matter in so many different ways. You have a big oak tree that's tons and tons of carbon that's pulled out of the atmosphere. Trees have big root systems, so they're managing the watershed better than other plants. They prevent heavy rains from compacting the soil. They're the primary host plants of the caterpillars that are running our food webs. They're absolutely essential.
Because trees provide us rich benefit, it's only fair that we spread the wealth of green infrastructure around. That's called tree equity.
Tree equity is a passion of mine. We really diligently try to be as equitable as possible. The west side doesn't have the nicest trees in town, or the East Hill doesn't get all the new fancy trees or whatever it might be. I really try to explain that we spread this stuff as equitably as we possibly can.
Tree equity is crucial. We have 9 tree inequity areas in Eau Claire. We need to address them. The people who live in tree inequity areas suffer poor physical health, poor mental health, and fewer ecosystem services, so they actually pay more for their heating and their cooling.
This was one of the cottonwoods cut down to make way for development here along the Chippewa River. 95 rings for 95 years. For almost a century, this tree shaded, cooled, colored, and anchored this city. It was home to birds and food for insects, who will be here to do that important work for the next 100 years.
So it's widely accepted that from a quality of life perspective, it's highly effective and really the responsible thing to do. If we plan our urban environments to have more diverse green spaces, whether that's trees or other kinds of vegetation, it will make our communities more resilient, more sustainable, and will improve our quality of life in multiple ways. And so urban forests are a key part of that.
Embrace the tree hugger in you. Visit our website, cvbiodiversitypartnership.org.
This video was made possible by a grant from the Pablo Foundation.